So you've got your JSON Web Token and now you want to use it to authorize a user. So how would you do that? And how would you actually use roles with the help of JSON Web Tokens in a Web API? Let me show you how this works in this tutorial. All right, so I've got a default Web API project here with Visual Studio 2022 and a .NET 7 Web API. And I did this in the tutorial before, links in the video description, but this is not very important for this tutorial really. Here we create a JSON Web Token, but we can also use the new user JWT or user-jwts CLI of .NET 7 later on in this little tutorial here to create JSON Web Tokens and test them then. Important for now is let's just secure this default example weather forecast controller, shall we? Because when we run this application, this is from the last tutorial here, register and login a user. But here now, weather forecast, we try this, hit execute, and we get some data here. Now, what if I wanted to secure this method here? Well, in essence, this is really, really simple. We can just add another attribute here, which is called Authorize. And as you can see now, this reference was added, authorization. Now this means, see it here, it specifies that the class or method that this attribute is applied to requires the specified authorization. So this also means that we can actually put this thing up here. For instance, just add it here in these brackets or as a new attribute here on top. And then when we, for instance, secure this complete class, we can also say now this specific method is available to everyone, should not be authorized in essence, and then we can say allow anonymous, and that's that. And now for the roles, let me already tell you, if we add the authorize attribute here, then we can add some parameters or properties as well. So you see it here, there are also authentication schemes we can add, a policy for policy based authorization, also very interesting, and even roles. So this means something like roles, and then for instance only an admin can do that. This is already everything you have to do, and then this method is secured, and you have to be an admin to be able to access this method. All right, now this is just about securing this thing, but if you do that, it is still not really working. We have to use a JSON Web Token and tell our API how to work with this JSON Web Token. Now, the great thing, again, with .NET 7 is that this whole thing is a bit simplified. Not that much, really. They wanted to tell you that, but let me just show you this step by step. First, we have to add an authentication scheme. And how would we do that? Well, we say builder services, we register a new service, and in this case that would be authentication. And then here for a default JWT or JWT authentication, I'm not sure about this term JWT, I rather like JWT actually. Then we can add JWT or JWT bearer. Now Visual Studio is not knowing what's going on here, so we have actually to, or in my case, I had to install another NuGet package. Don't know what about you, but we can use a little trick here, JWT bearer defaults, and then we get the suggestion to install this package that we really need, Microsoft ASP.NET Core Authentication JWT bearer. We find and install the latest one. And that's that. And why am I using this trick? Well, if you want to look at my .NET 6 tutorial about the same thing here, then we had to specify this manually. So we had to choose the JWT bearer default authentication scheme. And now this is done with this line here, add JWT bearer, and that's that. All right. This is in essence everything. Before also what we had to do is we had to add another middleware. Here use authorization is still here. Actually, this is also not necessary. For instance, if you want to use minimal APIs, then you would, I think you would not see this line anymore. And again, in .NET 6, we had to add use authentication, not user, use authentication. That's the one. You see it here as the Microsoft authentication middleware, but this is not, again, not necessary anymore. So this is everything you need. Actually, you would think that, but, and this is a big but in my opinion, this works when you only use the new CLI, for instance, the user-jwts CLI. Let me show you what I mean by that. See it here, I tested this already a little. So we can actually use a .NET user and then JWTs and then create. And with that, we create a new JSON Web Token. And we can actually just copy this thing, paste it, and everything's working, hopefully. Let's just have a look with a .NET user JWT print, and then the ID, and also let's add show all. Hope that, yeah, that's the right command here. And with that, you can also see what this thing is actually doing, right? It's a name, the scheme, default scheme, bearer, adds audiences, an expiry date, no roles, lots and lots of stuff. And also interesting really is, don't know what's happening here, maybe you have to rebuild this thing. Also interesting is that here now in the app settings development JSON, this command, already the creation of the JWT of the token created also this section here. All right, so this now, as you can see it here, valid issuer.net user-jwts is, now I use the term myself. This is, well, for development purposes, this is fun and simple, and it works really fast. But the issue I have with that, and this is just the current state of my knowledge here, maybe you know something else, I'm pretty sure you know more than me. When I have a look at my create token method here, again from the other tutorial, I am using the symmetric security key here, an assigning key, an issuer signing key. And here now, I know this is not the most secure way for production. Maybe you wanted to use the Azure Vault for stuff like that. And here I added in these app settings JSON file, in this file, I added the token, my top secret key. Again, not that secure. I'm aware of that. But with that, I make sure that I am adding an issuer signing key. And then here in the program CS, we also have to tell our application to verify the JSON Web Token with the signing key. I don't know why, but this did not work in my case when I used these JSON Web Tokens here. And this is really strange because it actually uses a signing key, as you can see here. When you enter .NET user-jwts and then key, this is the signing key. And when I enter .NET user secrets and then list, there you see it as well. So what I actually can do is I can copy this thing and then enter it here, right? This would work. And then it uses this specific key to create the token. And then when we tell what we will do in a minute, sorry that it took so long, but I think this is really important. When we then tell our application that it should really use this specific key to verify the issuer signing key, then this will also work. But it does not work when I'm only using this token here. What's sad, because I was hoping that I do not have to specify anything here, and it would just work out of the box. We've got the proper signing key here and so on. I hope you get the idea. Now this is really unfortunate, but anyways, let me just show you what is going on now in our application when we just add the authorize attribute. But let me close this thing first and maybe rebuild this solution here, and hopefully we can fix that. Nope. Okay, just a sec again. Okay, the package is gone again. All right, JWT bearer defaults. That was our little trick here. Install it again. I don't know what I did. I'm sure you know, but I somehow uninstalled the NuGet package. All right. Funny thing is that I don't need the reference here anymore, and it still works. All right. Anyways, let's just run this thing. There it is. And now console is open. Again, let's just reload. And when I try this out now, it's telling me 401 unauthorized. All right. So this is not working now, but again, we can fix this. The thing is, we have to provide a token now in the authorization header. Now, how would we do that? Well, we could use simply something like Postman, for instance, or Insomnia, any REST client testing tool to do that. But here for Swagger UI, we have to configure this thing a little bit. So how would you do that? Well, in add Swagger Gen, we add some options. All right, so here now we write, give me a sec, I have to look this up, options, and then add security definition. Let's call this auth2, for instance, and then new open API security scheme. Not almost. Let me just add the reference. I don't like these long names here. We have to also add something here as well. So first the brackets or the braces, curly braces, and here now, yeah, I wanted to add the using. All right. So first this, and now here we can add a description if we want to, but important is where we want to use this new parameter. So the parameter location is the header, then the name is authorization, and we need a type, which is security scheme type API key. And now one more thing, we have to add an options filter, operations filter, this thing, and this thing is called security requirement operation filter. And we can also install this NuGet package here, Swashbuckle ASP.NET Core filters, find and install the latest one. And with that now, we can actually enter a JSON Web Token. See that? This is a new button, it wasn't there before, and we also see this little lock icon. So now we see that this thing is secured, right? We hit execute, nothing's happening. And here it is opening in essence the same thing as here. So what we have to do now is we have to provide a bearer token. So bearer and then the actual JSON Web Token. So now let's go back, and here now, what we can do, let me just grab this token here. All right, we hit authorize. And with that, then when we execute this thing, we get, see it here, we set the token to the authorization header, and we actually get some data, right? Isn't this just crazy? It already works. Again, issuer signing key is not verified. All right, so not that important for now. Maybe I wanted to show you something about roles. So how would you do that? Real quick, the .NET Web Academy starts soon. It's an online program where we cover all things .NET Web development with Blazor, Git, Azure, and more. Pretty much everything you need to know if you want to land a job in the .NET Web development world. And also the exclusive .NET Web Academy community for all your questions. And if you want to be the first to know when it opens, and if you want to get a discount, then make sure to subscribe to my newsletter or check out the link below to get a spot on the waiting list. Thank you very much. And now back to the tutorial. Again, we can go back to the weather forecast controller. And now here we add roles, and then for instance, admin, save this, restart the application. There it is restarting. Again, we add a token, the one we just used, hit authorize, close, And now we try this again with result, execute, and 403, forbidden. We do not have the role. Isn't that sad, right? And now again, if you want to test this with the new user-jwts CLI, what we can do is we create a new token. And now I'm not sure if it was role or roles. So help me, role. All right. So now we just say role and then admin. Then we've got a new token. It's telling us that now it has the role admin in it. And now drum roll. Bearer new token. We hit execute and we get the data. Isn't that crazy? All right. So this is really, really nice. And this is already how you would do that. And you can actually add several roles if you want to use them here to secure something, just by adding a comma and then add the user role, for instance, right? So now if we save this again, restart the application, and here now I just want to use the user role, for instance. You can copy this thing and then add this here. Authorize, close, try this out, hit execute, still works. Nice, huh? So that's that. And if you just wanted to know how you would do that, then you can stop watching. But please keep watching, because now this is really important in my opinion. Again, I know I'm repeating myself, but we have to verify this signing key. And how would you do that? Well, again, we have to add something here. And in this specific case, what I want to do is I want to validate the issuer signing key. We set the issuer signing key here in the options, and also we have to set the Boolean value for validate issuer and validate audience. All right, so this is just something to take into account. And how would you do that? Well, there are some options we have to set, and in here now we say options token validation parameters, and these are new token validation parameters, like that. And we use this reference here. And now validation issue, not validate issuer signing key set to true. Let's say validate audience is false, again just for these tutorial learning purposes. Validate the issuer, also false. And now our signing key is a new symmetric, wait, can I just copy this actually? A new, yep, that's the one. So back to the program CS. Almost. Here it's the builder configuration. Builder configuration. And wait a sec. Nope. This was necessary. Yeah. And the semicolon. So now what we're doing is we're telling our API, again, we want to validate the issuer signing key, not the audience, not the issuer. Why did I do this that way? Because I didn't set it here. So that's that. But if you, I don't know, want to use the, again, the user-jwts, for instance, and you want to use these audiences and this issuer, then you can set this to true if you want to. Just play around a little with that. Really recommend that. Best way to learn, actually. And now here regarding the issuer signing key, again, we are using the app settings token, and also here app settings token. And again, this thing can be found here. Source code available in the video description on GitHub. So let's save this now and restart the app manually. If you're wondering why I didn't set hot reload on file save, or I did not activate this, well, it simply crashes lately a lot. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe the new Visual Studio version, I have no idea why it is. Anyways, well, no, I have to copy this token again, I think. Yeah, I do. And then back to our application, there it is. We just reload this thing. And now here again, we say bearer. And this is, again, this is not the user-jwts generated token. When I now run this, telling me the following: the signature key was not found. What the heck, right? So this means that in this token, in this JSON Web Token, there is no key. But again, strange. Don't know what's going on here actually. When we go to JWT.io, we can test this token. And here you can also see some stuff, right? And here we can actually add a key. And again, if I'm doing complete BS here, please tell me that in the comments. I just think this is interesting and complicated. Here's my key. So let's just copy this. Say, okay, this is base64 encoded. I paste this thing. And now we have to paste the token again, because JWT.io changes the token here when I change anything here. See that? Ah, now it's gone again. Oh, come on. So I think that was the right one, right? T secret. No, wait a sec. Just a sec here. Again, we copy this, paste it here. Yep, that's correct. And now again, give me the latest token. That's the one. And we paste this thing again. Yeah, and now you see it was pretty much the same. And it tells me signature verified. So somehow the key must be there. But so this means maybe it's not the CLI tool here, user-jwts, but maybe something in the application. I have no idea what is going on there. But what I do know is when I'm using this method to create a token, and then I try to verify it here again with this, yeah, I called it token. Maybe I shouldn't call it token. It's the signing key. Then this works. So let me just show you this by restarting the application one more time. And then we just register a user. We try this out. And because there's a series going on currently or running that I really love, I'm using this username and this password. And now we created this new user. Now I can say log me in with Joel and Ellie. It executes. Now I get this thing here. Maybe we can just copy this. And what happens now when I enter this here? Bearer, authorize. All right. Drum roll. You know it won't work, right? Because we do not have the role, but it doesn't tell us that the key is not there anymore. So what we have to do now is we want the user to have either the admin or the user role or both. And we can do that real quick in the auth controller by setting a new claim. So here you just say role, admin, and why not role, not user admin. Jesus, this is the string here. All right, now admin, and he's just everything. So now also user, and we save this one more time, restart the application. There it is again. Try this out. Joel, Ellie, hit execute, and now here we log in again. Joel, Ellie, execute. We get the token. bigger now. Can double check on JWT IO actually. All right, so we paste this thing here and we see both roles. All right, that's great. And now here, weather forecast. Oh, wait. We have to use the token here. Bearer. All right. Authorize, close. And now execute, and we get the data. Isn't that great? And now the next step actually is, how would you read all this data in your JSON Web, or from your JSON Web Token in your API, in your Web API, or any .NET 7 application? Well, if you want to know that, just click on the video here on the screen.